I have been trying ChatGPT and OpenAI models to analyze my own data, and you found them fascinating, right? No, I found them absolutely useless. What did he say? Because my own data set and documents are large, I have so many text and PDF files, and these models have never seen my data. So if I want to use these models for my own data, I have to feed them all in one prompt, and there's a token limit in the input of these models. So I cannot use them for my own model, my own use case, I mean. How can I feed the documents? Yeah, but there are still some solutions for it. Oh, I know the solution. I'm going to actually create my own ChatGPT model based on my own data and documents so I can use it for my own use cases. But I need your credit card because tuning these models are, you know what I mean? The Bank of MG. No. You're not going to do that, definitely. No tuning or listen, I am doing this because it's really needed, not because of the payment or whatever. Listen to me, there's a way to do it actually. Listen, there is a better way to do it without fine-tuning and retraining the stuff. You can still use these models with your own large documents. Let me show you, okay? Let's make a deal. I can show you. Then, let's go. Hello everyone, this is FG and welcome to another video. Well, we might have already heard a lot about ChatGPT, OpenAI models, GPT models, so on and so forth, but there's a specific important question that you might have already asked from yourself, that how can we use these great models for using our own data, documents and files? Because let's say you're a researcher or you own a company and you have a huge amount of text and PDF files that you want to ask specific questions or to gain some insights using these OpenAI models, but these models, they have not necessarily seen your data within their training phase. So the question is, how can I provide my documents and data to these models to let them understand what I'm asking about and then come up with the answer? These models have token limit in their input, so you cannot fit all your documents in one model input or prompt. Then in this video, I'm going to show you an accelerator that will help you to create word embeddings from all your documents and PDF files to be able to first search for the relevant text from the word embeddings generated by OpenAI models, and then be able to ask OpenAI models like ChatGPT for the relevant insights or information you want from that prompt with the given relevant text that you gathered from word embeddings. I know I'm talking a lot, but let's check it out. It's gonna be much clearer when we go and get hands-on with this accelerator and see how it works on Azure. So let's check it out. Before we start, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you will get notified for the next video. Thank you. All right, hello everyone and welcome to another OpenAI video. So we already talked about OpenAI and Azure OpenAI, why it is added to Azure, what are the benefits, how you can gain access to Azure OpenAI. I provide you a walkthrough of all these components in the studio. So I'm gonna add the relevant OpenAI videos in the video description. Make sure you check that out. And this video gonna start with the assumption that you already know what is OpenAI, what are these models, and what is Azure OpenAI. So the challenge that we're gonna talk about and the solution, of course, for it is that here you can ask any specific question using GPT-3 models or even ChatGPT, right? But as you know, they have token limits. That means I cannot here add a text file or text with millions of words and pages of stuff there. That's gonna give me the error that, hey, your input is more than the limit of the model. So now the question is, if I have my own PDF files and documents and I'm gonna ask a specific question that the answer is inside those documents and PDF files which are mine and the model has never seen them, then how can I use these models with my own data? Some people might think that, oh, that's a great use case for fine-tuning and tuning the model. That's not the point, because technically when you tune these models, it's really for the time that you want to provide a new pattern or something that this large language model has never seen, which is so rare. So what's going to be the other solution? There is actually a more simple way to do it. What we can do, we can convert our documents to word embeddings. What does that mean? Let me give you an example. I have actually some prompts that I actually generated the embeddings before, so let me copy that and paste it here. Let's say I want to tell to text DaVinci model to convert the following text word embeddings. How are you? So let's see what it's gonna give me as a word embedding. Click on generate. There you go. So it is giving me some numbers, but what does this number mean? So if you don't know what is word embedding, I would say check that out and try to search word2vec. That's a sort of technique that you can convert given words to numerical values, and this is something that model and computer will understand. How are you by itself is not understandable for computer and this model. So on backend, these words gonna get converted to numbers. If I say, for example, hey, I'm fine, thank you, or any other sentence here, the word embedding is gonna be different. So if two sentences, they have a similar meaning, let's say, how are you or how are you feeling, then their word embedding should be similar in aspect of their distance. That's why when I convert my documents to word embeddings, then using similarity measurement, I can find the relevance or similarity of a given sentence to the sentences that I have with my documents and files. So I gotta actually copy that. Let's keep that word embedding related to how are you, and we're gonna do the same thing for how are you feeling, right? Which is a similar sentence. Let's click on generate. There you go. So I have did this before, it gave me some sort of different numbers, but the concept I'm gonna show you is the same. So I'm gonna also copy that as well, which I did before. So hi, how are you or how are you feeling? They should have similarities in aspect of the word embeddings that we're gonna check. But let me also create word embeddings for a totally different sentence. Let's say, let me delete this actually and copy what I tried before. Let's copy this. The color is black or anything, right? It's not really related to how are you or how are you feeling. Okay, so now this is the embeddings for this sentence as well. So 3 sentences we tried. The first 2 were relevant, their meaning was sort of close, but the third one is totally irrelevant. So what I'm gonna do, here's another prompt that I tried actually. Let me copy and paste it here. I say that I have 3 word embeddings. The first one is how are you? The second one is how are you feeling? And the third one, the color is black. So the first 2 should be similar versus the third one, which is not related to first 2. So I'm gonna say which two ones are more similar, the first 2 one or maybe the third one, which is not really relevant. So if I'm gonna click on generate, the first 2 word embeddings are more similar. That means hi, how are you with how are you feeling, they're more similar compared to the colors black, which totally makes sense. But how that similarity got measured, it can, let's say, use cosine similarity with using dot products of these numbers. Now we were able to understand the relevant topics and sentences close to each other. So now think about it. If I'm gonna do the same thing, convert all my PDF files and text files to word embeddings, later when I ask a question, let's say, for example, this is my question. These are, let's say, all the questions that I have from my text. What I can do, I can grab this question, generate word embeddings for that question, and go to my database that I have word embeddings for all my documents, check out which document in my word embeddings that I created them before is closer to the user question, then add that relevant text to my prompt here and then answer the question. So that means first we are retrieving the relevant text from all my text and then ask the question. So when you bring just the relevant text, not all your documents, so you're resolving that token limits. So you don't need to bring all your documents in one prompt. You bring the relevant text that is relevant to the question that the user is asking to the prompt. How you can bring that? You need to generate word embeddings for all documents and then measure similarities and bring the relevant text to the prompt. So I wanted to explain what we're going to do, but you're not going to do it all manually because there's a very nice accelerator, and kudos to the people that contributed to this that will help you to do that. And this is the architecture. Let me maximize it a little bit. So what I'm going to do, Let's say I have so many PDF files in my company that is relevant to my own documents, sorry, my own use cases or domain. And by the way, I'm gonna add the link of this GitHub repository to the video description so you can give it a try. And then what I'm gonna do, this accelerator will give me a web application that I can run it in the UI and in my browser. I will upload my company PDF files and documents that can be huge. So this will automatically generate, first of all, text from those PDF files, because PDF files are not just a simple text. You have to recognize the documents. Maybe there's a table you have, there's a chart you have in those PDF files. So Azure Form Recognizer is a service that can detect information from those charts, whatever you have from PDF files. And even if those languages are not English, you can maybe even translate those to English. So creating raw text out of any unstructured document you put here, PDF, docs, TXT, etc., whatever. And then what I'm going to do with Azure OpenAI Service, you can create word embeddings, the numbers that I just showed you, for all the text that you have here. Now you need certainly a place to store those word embeddings, right? Redis is a great place to do so because it's pretty fast. It can cache the data in the memory and you can retrieve the embeddings. So I have word embeddings as a vector in Redis. And later on, when my user asks a question using ChatGPT or OpenAI models relevant to my own documents in the company, what I will do, I will go back to my Redis, find out the closest word embedding to the question that the user has. And then I will check what is the text for that chosen word embedding. Then I figure out that chunk of text, then I bring that chunk of text to the prompt of the user and then let ChatGPT or OpenAI models to answer. For example, here's a very specific question. There's a red blinking light on C4 button in my SP300 machine. Which part do I need to replace? This is not something related to the web dataset. This is the question from your documents. And then the answer can be provided here because I was able to grab the relevant information from word embeddings. Let me show you in action. That will certainly make much more sense. So how you can run this web application? Well, there are multiple ways you can run it on Azure. This is what we're going to do with these services. Or also you can run everything local in a Docker. Check different ways out. I didn't try these by myself, but I just tried the first one, which is deploying on Azure, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Please be cautious that before you deploy this, you need to first have OpenAI on Azure. I already talked in the previous videos how you can get access to Azure OpenAI. There's a request form you need to fill out, and then in the Azure portal, you will see Azure OpenAI created for you. Then, if you want Form Recognizer, you need to create Form Recognizer on Azure. I'm going to show you how to do it. And if you want, it's optional. If you want to have Azure Translator in case those documentations are not English, and you want to be them English, then you can have Translator. So I'm going to show you how I created those information, but let me show you how to deploy on Azure first. So I click on deploy on Azure. It is asking me the account that I'm going to log in. I already selected that. I'm not going to create because I already did, but just want to show you how you can do it. Let's wait a bit for the deployment get loaded, and there you go. It is asking me, give me the subscription, the resource group. You can create a new resource group if you want, the region, the resource prefix. That's a name that will be used for all the resources that are going to get created. I added, for example, MG. And then it is asking me some container name for the Redis, some password. You can change that if you want. And for other names, it is using already some prefixes. You can keep them as is. The stuff that you need to definitely change is first, what is your OpenAI name? Well, I'm going to show you my OpenAI. It is testmg. I already created and I got access to Azure OpenAI. Okay, so I add testmg. Oops, sorry, let me go back to the deployment. Then OpenAI key. If you remember the previous videos, each Azure OpenAI that you create has key. If you click on key section here, you can copy the key and the endpoint. I think it just needs key. Let me double check. Yes, just put the key and that's it. OpenAI engine. What engine you're going to use for answering users' questions? You can use, let's say, ChatGPT, which is GPT 3.5 Turbo. And of course, you need to create word embeddings for your documentations, right? Some OpenAI models can create word embeddings, not all of them. So here, text embedding ADA has been used. Again, you can change it. So form recognizer. You need the endpoint of form recognizer and the key. How? First, you need to create it. Just search for recognizer. There you go, and you can create one. I already created. So if I click on that, if you go to the key and endpoints, you can copy and paste the key and endpoints that is showcased in the portal and paste them here. Exactly the same thing for translator. Just search translator in Azure portal, create one, and copy and paste the key there. And of course the region that you want to deploy them. That's it. You click on review and create. What's gonna happen in that resource group you specified on the top, it's gonna create a bunch of resources for you. So let me show you what you will see. Let me go to my resource group. This is the one I created, and there you go. You can see that it created container instances, storage account, app to launch that web application, function app for running some codes given that repository. And let's launch the web app. So I click on app service. This is the prefix I use, that's why the name is MG, but yours can be different. And then here I can launch my web app using the domain specified on the right side. There you go. Now my web app is up and running, and I'm gonna show you what I did previously with this. So first of all, you need to add your own document, right? So click on add documents. These are the documents that the model has never seen, but you can now drag and drop your PDF file, JPEG, whatever your form recognizer gonna generate the relevant text out of them. Or let's say this is not a file, this is a large text that you have. You can copy and paste it here and compute embeddings, or even you can actually add documents in batch. For example, multiple files or multiple documents at the same time you want to load them. This is the place to go. So I already downloaded two actually articles, one of them from Google Scholar. That's a research article published, I think, just in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And this is something that the models has never seen. And I want to ask specific questions about this research document. So let's say I am a researcher. I'm not going to read all this paper, but I want to upload this paper to ask a specific question. For example, what was the features that has been used to train this model that's mentioned in this document, right? For example, the feature list of the hypertension prediction model. This is actually what I used. That give me that feature list without opening this document, and it's gonna retrieve me back all the feature names. We're gonna come back to this. The second document I uploaded is, I think, Bank of US annual report for 2022. And I want to ask a specific question. For example, what is the responsible growth mentioned in this annual report by Bank of America? Okay, so, and that's a large document, by the way, 226 PDF files, pages. Okay, so let me go to my web app. There you go. So if I click on document viewer, you can see that I have already uploaded these PDF files and they have been converted. And if I go to index managing, you can see it converted my documents to a bunch of chunk of text. And here's the text, and then the ID and the embeddings relevant to that text. Okay, so let me go to the place that I can write down my query. Actually, I think I have my query already. So what I'm gonna do, let me just copy the question that I had. Okay, let's say this is the question that I have. What are responsible growth? Where did I grab that question? Well, in that annual report, I found this actually keyword, and I just want to see if it's gonna retrieve me back this without me giving the text, giving the PDF or whatever. Okay, so actually I think it already worked. There you go. What are responsible growth? Responsible growth is blah 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 blah. Number 1 all the way to 4. Grow in sustained manner. Okay, let me check if that's relevant to that or not. There you go. Number 4, grows in sustainable manner. So it was able to retrieve that information from the PDF file without me specifying the text here. But how was the magic? Here's the thing. So this is the prompt. Please reply to the question using only the information present in the text above. This is the prompt that was used for asking OpenAI model. But what is the text above? That text was imported from word embeddings using similarity measurement. So it was able to understand responsible growth word embeddings is close to that part of the text of that PDF file. So it converted, bring that all text information in the prompt, and then ask my question, and then the prompt got answered here. So if I click on settings, this is the prompt was being used. You can also change the response length, the temperature stuff we talked about already, and even the language if you want to change it. Okay, let's check out actually the other PDF file. That's a research paper. I want to ask, give me the list of features used for this prediction model in that research study, right? So this is the question. Let me go back to my web app, paste that question and hit enter. Running here. There you go. Let me check. What were the feature lists for? Okay, let me first of all check what was the prompt. Let me go back. Stop the recording from here. So here's my web app. I'm gonna paste that question. What were the feature list of hypertension prediction model? Let's check what it's gonna answer. It's running. And there you go. It gave me all those list of features used which were mentioned in that table, which is a PDF file, so form recognizer were able to text it, generate the text. And that's the prompt, the same thing. It got the relevant text from that PDF file and added to the prompt, and the prompt was able to finalize and get the answer back. If you want to play around with this web application, you can even do some ad hoc analysis. Here's an example for summarization. If you click, it will give me the summary, just making sure that web app can call your OpenAI models that you specified. You can extract a specific data from that given conversation, or just general playground that you want to play with this data. For the settings, we already talked about that. This is my OpenAI resource with the model which is text Da Vinci that I'm using, and that's it. So I just wanted to show you, this is actually one example to do. There are more ways that how you can deal with these models with your own large documents, and check that out, that repository that I'm gonna add in the video description. Again, you can add it in your own container, not just necessarily Azure, but I hope now the idea of how you can use large documents with OpenAI models make more sense for you. You know the flow, and here's a quick start to leverage it. And that's all. Hope you enjoyed the video. Are you sometimes overthinking? If yes, let me tell you something. There is no past and future. Everything is right now at this moment that you're listening to me. Am I wrong? Past is just a bunch of memories in your head, and future is projection of those memories in future. So imagine that you just got born to this life and to this world, and you know nothing. So is there something that you would be worried about? Then just relax, breathe, and as I always mentioning, dream big, believe in yourself, and take action. Until next video.